Hey everyone, Jeff Pirishad here for Swish 710 Bowling with another ball review for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Storm Phaze 5. Obviously the Phaze series has been great for Storm, especially the Phaze 2, which is one of the top solid balls of all time. The Phaze 5 is a Pearl version of that. It has an RG of 2.48 and a differential of 0.051, same numbers as all of the phases. But the new thing on this is it's using the R2S Pearl cover, which is known mostly by the Pearl High Road has that. But it's got the new gloss, the polish, the 1500 grit sand, and then they put this Reactor gloss is what they called on it. It's their new polish. So as you can see, the ball is very shiny. It's glass out of the box. And here's the layout that I used. If you want to see the numbers on this, I've got some numbers for you. My PAP, my positive axis point, is 5 1/8 to the right inches, 5 1/8 inches to the right, and 7/8 inches up. The layouts I'm using, got more numbers. So the pin is 4 5/8 from my PAP. I'm going with a 75-degree drill angle and a 35-degree VAL angle. The pin buffer is 2 1/4 inches. And as you can see, the positive spin axis, the mass bias, if there was one, this being a symmetric ball, is in the thumb. It's 6 inches from the PAP. So the final numbers, if you use dual angle, 75 by 4 5/8 by 35. If you use Storm's layout system, it's 4 5/8 by 6 by 2 1/4. So let's go out to the lanes and take a look at what this ball looks like, throwing it down and knocking down some pins. So the one thing you'll notice right off the bat is, as I said, very shiny ball, gets down the lane really well, and it rolls. So you can see I'm playing a little straighter here. It looked really good, so I decided to move in a little bit, and I projected it right, and that's just too much. The ball punched through the break point for me. I didn't think I threw it that hard, so I tried to throw it a little less to the right, and it looked okay. Didn't quite get back. It didn't read enough for me. This one, so I said, okay, well, maybe this angle I can throw it into the dry and get it back, and it got back, but it just didn't really. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go talk to my good friend Aberlon. I took out a 2000 pad, and just by hand, I didn't make the ball dull, but I just cracked some of that shine off of it. I just needed to get a little bit of the polish off. So did it make a difference? Yeah, it did. Big difference. So now I think this ball's a little more appropriate for my style. You can see now the ball's just really, it digs a little more. Still shiny. I mean, you can see going down the lane, this is not a dull bowling ball. It is still very shiny. But it's just able to read a lot better. I mean, there's, an extent of it. I can't loop the lane. This is not a huge hooking ball. But I can kind of get close if I keep my speed reasonable. I think taking a little bit of that shine off helped a lot. So I'm now in a position where this ball is a little better for me. If I get it to the dry, it'll read that a little better. Lesson to be learned for everybody. Do not be afraid to customize the surface of your bowling ball. I feel like I say this in every video I do. But when a bowling ball company designs a ball, they put it out there, they don't know who's going to be using it. Everybody's going to be using it. But the surface is the way it is. They can't design a ball that has the surface that's great for everyone. They don't know who's throwing it. I mean, bowlers of all styles are, I mean, that's what they hope, right? They hope they're going to be able to sell a ball to bowlers of all styles. So there's going to come a time where with every bowling ball, you're going to have to maybe change the surface. If you throw a ball and you don't like the way it looks, do something with the surface. You might end up with what looks like a brand new bowling ball. So let's take a look at comparisons. First, we have the dart code. Hook's about the same amount, but the back end isn't as sharp as the Phaze 5 is. The dart code being a bit of a stronger ball, stronger core cover. It's going to burn a little more energy earlier. The RST X3 obviously is a much bigger ball. It's going to be a lot more forward in the back end as well. As you can see, again, stronger cover, stronger core. The Phaze 5 cover is just so clean. It gets down the lane further than any of these three. In the Zen, I mean, it's, again, the same, more of the same. The Zen will roll up a bit earlier, and it's a lot more of a revy core, and it rolls up and revs up a lot better, and goes more forward into the pins than it does angular. let's go back to the Phase 5 and take some more looks at that and talk about who might want this ball in their bag or who it might be good for. I think the Phase 5 should be good for lots of different bowlers unless you really throw the ball pretty fast. If you have a lot of ball speed, this probably isn't going to be a ball that you want to look at unless you are bowling on a lot of dry. If the lanes are dry, I think then this ball will be great. But if you have a lot of ball speed and bowling a lot of oil, this probably shouldn't be the ball you're looking at. But if you have low ball speed, I think this ball should be great. Because it gets so far down the lane, it's so clean. If you are medium speed, medium rev, kind of a balanced kind of bowler, I think that you're the type of bowler that can probably benefit from this ball the most because you can probably use it on the most different types of conditions. You'll be able to play right with it and be able to play left with it also. I think there's a lot of versatility. The extremes aren't going to be very good. If the lanes are very dry, this ball might just be a little too unpredictable off of the dry because it saves so much energy for the back end because it's so clean. And if the lanes are too oily, don't even bother. Just leave this ball in the bag. If you know you're bowling on like a 49-foot pattern or something ridiculous like that, just leave this ball home. Unless you're bowling in a bowling center that dries up really fast, then sure, bring it with you. But on the fresh, no, not going to happen. Anyway, I think that Storm has a good piece here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what bowlers do with it. So let's talk about my closing thoughts for the Storm Phase 5. First, I think this is going to be a very good complement to the Phase 2, which was one of the most popular solid bowling balls of all time, especially for bowlers that bowl in tournaments or on patterns, things like that. The Phase 5 was great. I think this can give you the same kind of reaction shape, just a little sharper and with a little more length. Second, this is not a huge hooking ball. Don't expect to just stand left and throw it right on every pattern. You need to have some sort of dry to get this ball to hook because the cover is very, very clean. You don't want to just throw this ball in a flood of oil. It's not going to hook, which leads me to 3. The R2S Pearl cover stock plus this new reactive gloss equals a whole lot of skid. This ball goes very long. If your heads are burnt out, this ball should get through it great. But as I said, if there's too much volume, you might see this ball just go a bit too straight. So, number 4, don't be afraid to change the surface. Do what I did. Take an Abalone pad or bring it into your pro shop. Tell them, look, I don't want the ball to be dull, but can you just crack some of that super gloss off of it? Just to get the ball to read the dry just a little better and to read the oil even a little better because you want the ball to give you some kind of reaction, some kind of change of direction. So anyway, that's my video for the Phase 5. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, if you did, leave a comment below and hit those like and subscribe buttons. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel and gets us past YouTube's wonderful algorithm. So until next time, see you guys all later.